everyone, and welcome to this video where I will share with you how you can use ChatGPT for your career search. So what we will be doing is that I have a document, and I will share this document with you in a second, where I put down everything that I like and everything that I think I'm good at and my experiences. And obviously it's not all inclusive, it's an example. So I didn't put anything down because otherwise it's like basically showing everything to you guys, which is okay, but maybe not in that detail. But for the main things, I share with you how I created and what I created for some insights into, what I'm good at and so on. And then we will be using ChatGPT to figure out, okay, what are my strengths and maybe my top skills, and just put this into a nice format. And then secondly, we are looking at a job at LinkedIn, and we will just copy paste the job over here to ChatGPT 4. Be careful, it's ChatGPT 4. So you can do this with 3.5 as well, but then you have to type in the text by yourself. And I show you one additional thing that you can do with ChatGPT 4 of uploading a document. If you just prefer to do this in a normal Word document and just copy paste the text then into ChatGPT, it works completely fine as well with 3.5. And then what we will be doing is combining those two. So basically, okay, what is these things that I'm really good at, and what is the job that I want to apply to, and how I can combine those two things so my profile then is more aligned to the job that I'm applying to. And this will be helpful for you if, for example, you want to apply or you want to update your CV, or you just want to get a bit more inspiration and helpful narratives that you can unleash and that you can use when you're applying for a new job. And with that, let's get started. So I have a document here on my desktop. So if we go and click on it, we have to wait a second. It takes a bit of time, apparently. It shouldn't take that long of time. Do it again. Here we go. So I will share the document with you, but it doesn't really matter what kind of document you use, or as I said, if you use ChatGPT 3.5, you can just type in the text automatically. So if this is finally going here. So basically it is just a profile. So strengths, skills, values, and interests. And then I put all the text here of what it actually is. So in these different elements. And then I have one more profile where I just tried to do this in a bit different way. So it's also just words, creative expression, research, exploration, and inventing. And then the same thing again. The point is, these are just words that give you some idea of what kind of person this might be. If we close this now and we say, okay, let's go back to ChatGPT and let's upload this document. So we quickly go to upload. We go here to desktop, and then we put the profile here. Then we are uploading the profile here, this spider web. And now what we can be doing is extracting the content. So what we can say to ChatGPT is, hi there, can you please extract the content of this document and write it down here. And now we are waiting, and what it should be doing is that, as you can see, it says the document titled Your Profile, the Spider Web Approach seems to be a guide or template designed to, and so on. But apparently it's not really doing this yet, or is it? Oh yeah, it does. So now you see it. So, interesting. So you see, it took a bit of time. It did like all the summary and so on, which really is not something we need. We only need these words. But now you can see how it gave like some of these things, but it's not exactly what it did. So we can do this again and can say, okay, thanks, but can you write down exactly the content of the document and input the text in writings here, the text and words in writings here in the text field. Let's see. So you see it's loading. It takes a bit of time apparently. It's not that quick today. Oh, but see, now it looks better. So now it does exactly what I want, because now it puts down everything that I have been written in text form. And that's exactly what you want to have. So you want to have the text there, because then you can work with the text. And as I said, if you use ChatGPT 3.5, you can just automatically input text, which might be a bit quicker. I have a document, so you also can use this technique, obviously, to whatever document you want to extract text from, which I sometimes find very helpful, because then you can work with the text. So now that we have these words, what we can do is, copy paste them, and we can say, okay, thank you. Given the words that you just extracted, can you please write a profile of that person, highlighting and writing down these specific elements? And then I put A or 1 or whatever you prefer. A, and you can say top 3 strength. B, top 5 values. C, top 5. Now we can do it this one. C, top 5 skills. D, top 5 interests, or maybe top 3 interests. And then F, an executive summary of that person. And now what we can do is we can also tailor this already to a specific field. So we could say, for example, okay, this profile is supposed to be sent to hiring managers for job applications in, for example, in New York, in the tech industry. So please adapt it accordingly. And then we can take it from there, but you can basically input whatever you want and whatever industry you're in, and we will make it a bit more specific later on when we add the job. But this is just for you to get you some ideas on how you can get started. And now we can see what happens. So now you see, okay, we have an executive summary. So it says a dynamic and innovative professional with a proven track record in the tech industry. I blend a unique mix of creative problem solving, strategic analytical thinking, and a deep understanding of technology to drive business success. And then it goes on. So basically it already puts this in the style of you applying to hiring managers, which I think is really fantastic, because it allows you to very easily have all of this information, right? And you see exactly this one, what I just wanted to share with you, which I think is really interesting. It does this executive summary actually at the beginning already. So the second executive summary is just basically just another one that you can use. So you see, you can play around with these words, and you can let AI play around with these words. And in that sense, come up with some really great ideas of how you can frame who you are and what are your strengths. So even if you say, okay, I already know my strength and I already know my interests and I already know, obviously, like my values, and so this is just an example here, then you can also say, okay, my top three strengths, for example, is analytical thinking, creativity, and empathy. But I want to have a bit more of a better explanation of how I can write it down, what exactly it is. And this really helps you to strengthen your job profile when you apply, or also your LinkedIn profile when you apply. So this is great, but now let's do this with a LinkedIn job. So let's go to LinkedIn, and we have jobs here. So yeah, let's take a New York job. So Synthesia, Revenue Operations Manager, Sales Development. So let's take that one. And when we have the job, what we do is we can obviously, put this in here. Now, why does it not work? I tried to copy paste this right now. Now it works. I think it just had to load. So is this now copy pasted? All perfect. So we just copy paste, and we say Revenue Operations Manager, Sales Development. We go back here and we say, thanks a lot. Now I want to tailor that profile to the job description that I will upload for you in a second. So please make sure to write the profile in the sense that the hiring manager for that position feels that the profile is a strong fit for her company and the position they are trying to fill. And now we can say, what was it? Revenue operations manager, sales development. So we say revenue operations manager, sales development. Oh, that's not what I want. And that's not what I wanted to copy. That's weird. Okay, let's do this a more classical way, kopieren, which is German and says copy. Now I just got black, which is even better. So sorry for this, guys. Apparently Google is not responding anymore, so it's completely overloaded, but maybe this still worked. So let's see if it still works. Oh, this works, see. So maybe we just take out all of these benefits because that's not really something that we need to have in here, but everything else. So let's go and put this on, and then we can see what happens, and maybe hopefully it doesn't get black again. But see here, it already starts. So it says, based on the job description at Synthesia, I've tailored the previously created profile to match the specific requirements and expectations outlined in the posting. This version emphasizes relevant skills, experiences, and strengths that align with Synthesia's mission and the role's responsibilities. And now it says executive summary. An analytically driven and innovative revenue operations manager with over 3 years of specialized experience in sales operations and revenue management within the tech sector. Renowned for harnessing the power of Salesforce SQL and various sales engagement platforms to streamline operations, enhance sales strategies, and foster significant growth. So you realize for this executive summary, it basically now mainly focused on Synthesia. And so what you would have to do is to adapt this a tiny bit. So if you say, okay, I'm really analytically driven, which we already know, right? Then it would be helpful to say, okay, with over 3 years of specialized experience, if you don't have 3 years of specialized experience, you just put with over, for example, 12 plus years of sales experience and revenue management experience, and kind of tailor this to that. I haven't inputted now all of my experience. So what I normally would do and what I did beforehand, we can't do this now because it gets into too much details. But what I would be doing is that I would now write the AI and say, my experience is not exactly that with these 3 years of specialized experience in sales operations and revenue management, but my experience is more in customer success and sales management and revenue development, or basically revenue growth. And so can you please make sure that this sentence is more aligned to what I have already done? And I basically talk to this like the AI or ChatGPT, like a personal assistant in a way, and say, okay, can you please do this for me a bit differently? And then it would update the whole executive summary. So we can do this with this example, just as an example, but then let's first quickly go through this. So it says like top 3 strengths. So, it kind of goes back to what you have inputted beforehand. So it aligns with what had been in the chat beforehand. So it just for the analytical thinking, it adds the strategic piece here and goes into creative problem solving, which I think is a very strong piece of, for example, what I do anyways and like who I am, and also my top 3 strengths. So it kind of fits into that, but you really, can then see how you want to do this. Then you have top 5 values. So it changes the values. I mean, obviously, values are normally quite not, I wouldn't say fixed, but they go into a specific direction. So if you say, okay, it doesn't fit, I don't want to have it here, then obviously don't. But it helps you to still tailor a bit to the application at hand. Then you have top 5 skills, top 3 interests, and then an executive summary. And so, as I said, what I would do is I would basically copy paste that. No, only this sentence. And I would say, I don't have these 3 years of specialized experience, but instead I have 12 plus years in client-facing roles and 7 plus years in customer success and sales. I see it's like individual contributor and leadership roles in the tech industry. So can you please adapt the executive summary accordingly and relate it back to the role at Synthesia? I want to make sure that my profile fits that role perfectly and that the hiring manager sees the benefit of hiring someone that may not have these revenue operations skills yet, but related skills and highly sought after skills for that role anyways. And so, as I said, I just talked to it like like an assistant in a sense, but obviously an AI assistant, I would talk a bit nicer to someone in real life. But in that sense, it helps, like to bring it up. And I think which is also really helpful is that if you input these job descriptions in there, you get an understanding of what words they use, what kind of language they use. You would have a very different language, for example, if you work like a nurse or doctor compared to someone in the tech industry in revenue enablement or revenue operations. It's like a completely different language. And to understand the language and understand like what exactly is used and what kind of words are used, it's really helpful. So if you want to break into a specific industry, this can be very helpful looking at those job profiles and then adapting those job profiles to your own profile as well, and kind of synthesizing them and seeing, okay, how can I build those bridges between what I have already done and those things that they are looking for. So what are these skills, transferable skills that I have? And I think AI can help you really well with that, because it helps you to take these bridges and see, okay, what do I have already done and how can I build this and bring this to these roles? And you can go very, very deep, obviously, and very specific. You can also more broaden the whole horizon. Or just take specific parts of your executive summary, for example, and make it better. So you have to play around a bit. So I think, and I see AI as something beautiful in the sense that it helps you to brainstorm and come up with new ideas and come up with new phrases that you would have not been able otherwise. But I saw a lot of people just using it, typing in one question, and the AI is not giving them what they're looking for. And in that sense, it won't work. So the best thing is if you do it in an iterative approach and just play around with it and see what works best for you. And so that's what I normally do, is I do a lot of playing around with it, and I do a lot of iteration, and I put a lot of text in there, just because the more text I do and the more context I give, the better the answer will be. And you can obviously play around with some of those very specific specific directions or specific factors. So for example, you can use these factors. Okay, please AI, think out of a hiring manager position. So imagine you are now this hiring manager for the revenue operations manager, or you're like a VP of revenue operations at Synthesia. So please take this stance and answer out of that stance. Or you could say the context of a city like New York or Germany, or like a country, and say, okay, please take into account also those customs in these specific countries. Or you can also take into account, for example, a specific industry. So this is the tech industry now, or you can say the B2B SaaS industry, so the business to business compared to business to customer. Or you can say software as a service compared to whatever hardware company or hardware products. You can say what kind of product is this, like a video AI generation software, for example, as Synthesia is, or is it maybe a medical company or like a fintech company? So what kind of products do they offer? How can I align my profile to the specific product? Then you can say, okay, are there specific things? Maybe you could, for example, look for the company, trying to better understand the company with AI by, for example, taking their annual report, putting this annual report into ChatGPT and analyzing it and coming up, okay, what are the key 3 things that they want to achieve in that year? And then you have something else you can talk about and give yourself a summary of this as well, that you can then also input into your profile or input into your CV and upgrade your CV in that way. So I think the more you try around and coming up with those ideas of how you can leverage AI and ChatGPT in that example for your job search and kind of aligning those 2 things, and the more you iteratively do this, the more you realize and find out, okay, what works best. And I think this is just a really beautiful thing of AI and ChatGPT. So here we have our executive summary. It says now, a strategic and results-driven professional with over 12 years of experience in client-facing roles and 7 years in customer success and sales leadership with the tech industry. Okay, we got this. I just put this in. My journey has been characterized by a deep commitment into understanding and fulfilling client needs, driving customer success, and leading sales teams to exceed their targets. While my background might not traditionally align with revenue operations, my comprehensive experience offers a unique blend of customer insight, strategic sales planning, and leadership that is directly transferable to the revenue operations manager role at Synthesia. And here you see it. It put this in a different wording, and it aligns those 2 wordings, and it makes sense. So my adeptness for forging strong relationships combined with a keen analytical mindset and a history of innovating sales and customer success strategies positions me perfectly to support and enhance Synthesia's sales development function. And so you see, it combines those 2 things. And I think this is powerful because it gives you the bridge and it gives you those wordings for that bridge. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. If you find this helpful, I would be really intrigued if you just give me a like for this video, or if you leave a comment. And if you have additional questions, just let me know. So with that, have a great day, and see you soon, or talk to you soon.